Nils Politt has become one of the most fashionable men in the Peloton after his 80-kilogram climbing displays in the Tour de France. This has led to him being acclaimed by fans when he stops to pee in a Parisian cafe, and has also resulted in him becoming the guest star of the internet's trendiest format, the podcast. This time, the German Schlag und Fertig, created by a comedian and a former FC Köln footballer. 2 weeks ago, Politt appeared there to tell us all the secrets of his leader, the Slovenian alien, about why the Tour de France winner didn't give away any stages to the Danish anchovy, and then he went on to repeat a dangerous mantra that's settling in for the peloton whenever cyclists are asked about doping. Subscribe to the channel for more cycling content, and now let's see what the rouleur who mutated into a super climber has to say for himself. I always find it curious that these types of cyclists, like the sickly Nathan van Hooijdonk, are never asked penetrating questions when they go from being good rouleurs to blowing climbers to pieces on all category mountain passes. But since this time it's a comedian and a soccer player asking their latest little friend the questions, well, I'm not going to be too surprised this time either. Politt was quick to tell us just what it's like to work for Poggy. The German says it's pretty tough to work when your leader skips team tactics, asking him and other gregarios to go faster than expected simply because of how good he feels physically. It seems that Politt hasn't been paying attention to the words of Mo, the insider who leaked that Urske Zigard's boyfriend couldn't stand moonlight matching, and that if he can get away with it, well, he avoids following his advice whenever he can. And so it's quite normal for him to skip the tactics of the Spanish bald guru. However, Politt decided to go further and started telling us some insider secrets about the increasingly dictatorial behavior of an incredibly bossy Poggy. For example, in the relationship with his own teammates. After Politt told Poggy at a training camp to rest for a day because he could see tiredness in his face, the Slovenian alien got angry and decided to shred his teammates for 200 kilometers to bust his German gregario. He took it as a challenge, you see, just as the steroid doper Jordan did with his teammates, or indeed low-cost Lance did whenever he had the chance to do it. So if Poggy is such a beast with his friends at Saunier Duval, well, you wouldn't expect anything less with his rivals, would you? Politt explained perfectly what happened on stage 20, the Col de la Cuillole, where the yellow jersey followed the wheel of the anchovy Vingegaard and then flame-grilled him in the final 200 metres with an attack worthy of a sewer rat. And here, well, we begin to observe the first great mafia-like behaviour traits of Poggy. We sense them, but now, well, they're already being confirmed by his own domestique. The disciple of Dracula Gianetti has a list of friends and a blacklist in the peloton. For example, Remco Evenepoel, our beloved dancing pizza delivery boy, is one of the aliens' closest friends, and if they had reached the finish line together, Poggy would have given the stage to the hyperactive little Belgian. However, the married Danish anchovy is on Saunier Duval's blacklist, and according to Politt, well, he's on the blacklist of other teams too. And so it was impossible for Poggy to let the Danish rider win a stage, no matter how sad, simply because he's a Dane. He's always a Dane, this time from the Rabobank team. That is, we have a list of Poggy's friends, cyclists who are submissive towards him, like a Welsh alcoholic who accepts finishing more than 10 minutes behind him on a Giro d'Italia. Or the Italian, Giulio Pellizzari, who in the future will have his prize in the form of a free stage or perhaps even a place in the Saunier team. And then on the other hand, we have a list of Poggy's enemies, cyclists who've beaten him or who represent everything that he wants to avoid being associated with his image. Like, for example, Tramadolito Quintana, whom he literally humiliated on the way to Livigno, simply because bullies like him, or Thomas, who most probably took tramadol in his Sky days, well, they will defend that the normative thing to do is to side with Selville Papillon, someone else who is definitely on Poggy's friends list and someone else who definitely wanted to destroy Tramadolito's career to the point of causing serious mental damage to the Colombian from the Banesto team. Now, these confessions of Politt leads us to ask ourselves, why has the anchovy no friends in the peloton? Beyond the humiliations carried out by the algae-scented rider from the Baltic Sea, we can't observe that the anchovy has publicly treated the alien badly. Politt himself insists that they respect each other as athletes. But it's evident from what Mo has told us that Poggy hates Jonas to the point of celebrating his defeats on the Saunier Duval team buses. Both the alien and Focusin made some rather insulting statements during the Tour de France towards Vingegaard, insisting that he had no balls to attack them. Even Politt himself says that when he runs out of gregarios, the great Danish anchovy turns into a little minnow, similar to the ones that appear in apartments with high levels of humidity, into a nervous man unable to act on his own. The reality seems to be that Jonas Vingegaard has no friends, even in his own Rabobank team. And that's a place where there are a lot of riders who share his lifestyle of being a young parent. Perhaps they could take their children to school together, but no, we don't observe any great fellowship towards the anchovy. He has not sought to make friends in the Peloton, true, but it seems that his best colleague in the cycling universe is the cycling race organizer, and someone sanctioned for doping, Ezekiel Mosquera. Jonas barely appears with the Danish national team, and, well, any compatriot friends he has, such as Luigi Cecchini's client, Michael Valgren, they've been friends since childhood. It seems that the anchovy falls badly even with our friend of the channel, Bjarne, who's given him several tips and advice and guidelines from his mansion in Vejle. Suggestions to change his attitude a little, for, well, it's only to be expected that you're going to earn the discouragement of your fellow professionals when you crush them in village races and then go around saying that you skipped doping controls and that it was all a mistake and it won't happen again. But look, Jonas, we're going to cheer you up just a little bit now. If you take a picture with our friend Bjarne, you will automatically become a friend of our channel. Yes, do it. Cheer up. Make it happen. And you could leave a little crowdfunding contribution in the comments ahead of this happening someday. Mind you, Politt does have something in common with the Danish anchovy, and that is repeating the new anti-doping mantra to save his generation in the face of sponsors and fans. 10 years ago, the positive for salbutamol white Kenyan, the Andorran Dan Martin, or even someone as doped as Pete Valverde, claimed again and again that cycling had changed from Lance's epocha. It was a much cleaner sport, despite the fact that they were still working with the same doctors who'd been connected to doping for years. But now, of course, nutrition has improved. Materials and equipment, they've improved. Aerodynamic helmets are so much better, and, well, bikes weigh so much less than in Pantani's time. So says Politt. Sure, but you don't just beat Pantani's times by more than 4 minutes. A Pantani who was riding more doped than anyone in cycling history in those days. Performances that not even dopers like Locos Lance or Alberto Contretrol, retired in 2017, came close to matching. Froome's or Roglic's or Poggy's own times from 3 years ago are now being beaten by whole numbers of minutes. The wattage level of the alien and the anchovy in the last 2 Tour de France editions are the highest in cycling history. But keep repeating that they pass the anti-doping controls. That was already said by our good friend in 1998. Keep saying that all the great champions of the present are Paniagua. Keep having your trainers as fans and followers of this channel. Keep going. Oh, and you, dear viewer, you can keep watching our videos too. Stop by the one on the screen. You will love it.